So, welcome to Greetings from the Future, Tales from the Metaverse. Today is part 3 of our exploration of the Metaverse, and we're going to take a look at AltspaceVR, where we're at now, VRChat, Rec Room, and which was the other one?
Mozilla HUBS.
Mozilla HUBS. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a continuation of a number of these sessions that we've done. We've taken a look at different worlds like Horizon, previously Decentraland, Spatial, and we'll be actually returning to these worlds shortly to bring you some live content from them. Any thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, well, I guess this is an important introduction for those people that have no idea about the metaverse and how to get around with all these different platforms, as we call them. And we always have to make clear what kind of technical backgrounds are there, because you need certain things like a head-mounted display. In some of those platforms, you can just use your smartphone or tablet, for example. And it's quite important to understand what is possible in each of these different platforms and whatnot.
Oh, good. Eric, thoughts?
Well, for me, it's always a big educational experience going on these journeys because there's so many lands to cover, and you could just spend forever trying to see what's going on everywhere, and then by the time you go all the other places, there's going to be more places that pop up. So
we're here on AltspaceVR today, and we're going to be focusing on VRChat, Rec Room, Altspace, and Mozilla HUBS. So let's go ahead and start with AltspaceVR.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, Altspace is one of my favorite places in the metaverse, because this platform is so much focused on, let's say, classic interaction of people. This is a meeting space. People can find here together. Anyone can set up their own meeting world if they want to, with some, well, quite basic functions. You can build your own world out of so-called kits, little models that are saved in here. You can put them together to create a world. You can use a package like Unity, 3D modeling and setting up three-dimensional worlds and games to make a space like this here. And it's quite open. And again, the focus on Altspace I like the most because it's pure conversation. It's not that much of gaming. There are other platforms that cover that.
Eric, comments?
yeah, I'd like to. I'm just gonna. I obviously can comment. I mean, I did not know much about VR for Burning Man, which you just had the picture up on the screen. That's what brought me here. And I checked it out in 2D, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna participate this year, like instead of spending the money to go to Burning Man, I spent the money on getting the Quest 1 headset, and here I am today. You know, it brought me in, and I've been continually evolving the creativity and just the art coming together with technology. I did not realize how far it was. I did see Ready Player One, and I was really excited about the future. And I think that's maybe what intrigued me even more with, okay, coming in here and participating. And I guess I'm partial to Altspace out of all the platforms because this is where I've kind of started.
Do you think that the platform as it is, mainly focused on talks and event spaces and people finding together, do you think that's the best idea, or do you wish to have some more functions in here? When you first came in here, did you expect more?
That's a good question. You know what? I honestly, like at first when I was here, it just was blowing me away. Like because and the things that were blowing me away is doing these meetings of a content creator meet and greet. Uh, I feel like it welcomed in like the tech people from this Altspace world was like, oh, let me see what these, filmmakers, content creators want to talk about. And the possibilities just, I was really impressed with picking stuff up. And even though the things were limited, I guess I'm somebody that looks at the cup half full instead of the cup half empty. There's certain people that came in and they're like, well, you don't have full arms. So they're not impressed enough to feel that this is worthy of their time yet.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's there's so much going on in this realm that it's just mind blowing. I mean, I'm every day there's just something. Altspace, definitely is a creative space, but it's also a social space. And I think of all the spaces out there, it provides the best sense of society, if you will, where people feel very connected, at least in my opinion. But if we look at the screen again, here's the evolution of 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, probably now, a robot to a blocky avatar to a cartoon type avatar. And yes, there is Ready Player Me, and hopefully we'll see AltspaceVR decide to get involved with Ready Player Me too. That would be nice.
Yeah, we should talk about developing for sure as well. As I said already, there are different possibilities to bring in data into Altspace, and like most of the other platforms, this one is using Unity gaming engine as the platform to import data like these models, the table, and all the surroundings here. So in that case, if you want to use it, you have to be quite an expert to do that, not just a random person that never experienced with 3D modeling or graphics or whatever will be able to put something like this environment into Altspace. If you're a complete freshman, a newbie, no problem. You can just walk in here. There are a lot of pre-made environments. You can use them, and you can put some stuff freely into them as you like. So there are a lot of possibilities.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, last week we had Daisy on and she pointed out some of the amazing worlds that, she and other people have built just with the tools that are available in Altspace VR. They seem to be very primitive, but again, one's imagination is the limit. So let's move on from here to the next platform is VRChat. And here's a picture of me as a cat. And that was also a lot of fun. I could basically lurk in the passageways and observe all the weirdness that was going on.
My favorite character that I had that I went over into VRChat that I found was with the pandemic going on, I had the one like professor guy with the long nose and glasses. VRChat, there's something to be said about being in front of a mirror and seeing your full body connected and seeing people who do have the technology and you can go in there and dance. Like some people have really put some money into their setup to where they are you know, they're like they really are like a character in a movie that's existing right now. But VRChat is I really respect the place that it is. Its stance on everything. It is like it's like the Jupiter of the solar system, is what I see. It's just there's a lot of people there, people figuring it out, and it's got a high population right now. And you know, good for VRChat. You know, it's paving the way. I feel like it's setting a standard up for the other platforms to, you know, what stance are you going to take within this realm? Here is our stance.
Well, it's also privately owned. One of the downsides, in my opinion, is that there are some worlds on VRChat that are only accessible by a gaming computer, not the Quest headset as a standalone, although I'd hope that the AirLink or possibly developments with the AirLink would resolve that issue. But, you know, it really comes down to, you know, how much, you know, how many textures do we want? How realistic do we want the world to look? And more realistic the world looks, the more computing power one needs.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to see that VRChat is for sure offering the most flexibility. I think it's probably the platform with the most flexibility in the use cases that they're offering. So they are quite free to programmers. So again, those programmers, world builders, whatever, in this case, have to use Unity if they want to do more sophisticated things. But it's not just building a world like this one here. It's building a world with function. It can have their own little programming language that you can use inside of Unity, and you can script little games if you like to. You can script something like we see here on the screen, like an island where animals are running around and you can chase them, you can interact with those animals. We have been to a place together where you are in a forest, and in this forest you can play catch with a dog, a virtual dog running around there. So you can throw him a stick and he's going to run after the stick and bring it back to you, for example. It's a whole different level of interaction with virtual avatars, or in this case, an avatar, as virtual scripted objects.
As you say, you know, VRChat offers you very cool scripting capabilities. I love the dogs or the animals, the ducks that you can feed with slices of bread and whatever else. It's, you know, just a great example of how to extend creativity through programming.
Yeah, and it's endless. Like these experiences that people, it's whatever your mind can create and imagine. And you know, it's going to be more like, hey, I want to go do this, and there's going to be some other people that are going to want to do that. I feel like eventually we're going to have an address book. It's going to come full circle to where, like, oh, you want to go do this? Well, something's going on at this place like this. Let's go there.
Yes, so let's move on and take a look at the avatars. These are some of the new avatars that VRChat is adopting. Yeah, lots of possibilities. And, you know, it'll be interesting. This week, we need to check out Spatial again to see if how far they've gotten in terms of bringing their new avatars on. And, you know, there's something we've spoken to Altspace about extensively, is the fact that it would be really cool to have arms and legs. But Chris, sorry.
For sure, for sure. No, I mean, I think we have to make clear for all the audience and for the viewers that the system that we're talking about here, Ready PlayerMe, is an external service. It's a website where you can sign up and create yourself an avatar. And this avatar can be used in different platforms in the metaverse. You can use it in VRChat. You will be able to use it on Spatial and other platforms. So in that case, you are using your Ready Player Me avatar in 3 or 4 different platforms, you will always look the same. People will recognize you and say, hey, didn't I met you on this other platform? You are Susie, you are whatever. So this has to do with identity. And this is one of the big concepts of the metaverse, that on all these different platforms that are owned by different people or companies, still our content, if it's an avatar or maybe a 3D model that we created and we brought into the metaverse, is ours. You can take it away to another platform if you don't like this one, for example. And that's so important, to be able to use your digital things and take them with you.
Not everybody wants to be a mystery.
Yeah, and to your point, Chris, I mean, that's one of the strengths I feel about both VRChat and AltspaceVR is that one creates the worlds with Unity, albeit different versions of Unity, but ultimately, one can create one world and upload it to both AltspaceVR and VRChat, where some of these other worlds have definitely gone down a proprietary path where one has to adopt their scripting language or visual scripting environment. And VRChat does offer a paid subscription where you get.
Wait. So another platform, it seems like every platform has to where you can pay. There's always more you can get if you pay.
Yeah, there's more you can get. You don't have to pay. It's free, but if you pay, it's like $99.99 a year it comes out to be, and you can pay it monthly, but you get a bunch of enhanced features, early releases, that type of thing. You get treated like a customer, probably.
So wait, you don't get treated like a customer if you don't pay them the $99?
Well, one of the things I found lacking when it comes to many of these services is technical support, but they all do have a Discord channel, and the best support that one can get generally is from one's peers that are on these various services. So let's move on to Mozilla HUBs, and I'm going to let Chris introduce Mozilla HUBs. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about that, Chris.
Yeah, sure. Well, Mozilla HUBs is based on the Mozilla web browser, and that's Firefox basically. And many people in Europe use that a lot. I know that's also used in the US, but not that much. But it's a free open source web browser, and basically coming from Netscape, as far as I know, that was the very, very original of that.
Right.
And
right.
they decided to support the development of so-called WebXR. And I think I have to explain what WebXR is. It's extended reality functionalities that is not just used by a program like Altspace here. You have to download and install on your PC. Or you can use your web browser, like in this case Firefox, to directly jump into a virtual world. You just get a link, like you get a link for a website, and you open the website, fully immersive experience can start. If you have your Oculus Quest, for example, or other headset attached to your PC, you can decide. There will be a little button that asks you, hey, do you want to see that in your headset now? Put on your headset and you will jump into this immersive world. And you can also meet other people like we do here in Altspace. Everything is just based on web technology. So there's no Unity game making technology in the background. They have their own technology for that. So there's a little program called Spoke. As we can see it here. That's also just a website. You're opening the Spoke website and you can create your own environment. They have templates And you can choose one of those. You can use little 3D models that they have in there pre-made. You can drop them into your world, and then you get your link. And with this link that you can send to other people, you can visit your own virtual world. And that is, in this case, hosted by Mozilla itself. If you're a company, for example, you can also host your own server. It costs some money, but in that case, you're completely independent from Mozilla as a company, for example, because the whole setup, software behind that is open source. In VRChat, we can use headsets, we can use PCs, and I'm not sure if we have already support for mobile devices.
No, not yet. Not yet.
No, not yet. But on Mozilla HUBs, we have. Mozilla HUBs, you can get into those rooms using a tablet or a smartphone because, again, the whole technology is just based on the Firefox browser, basically. So anything that can run the web browser can also run Mozilla HUBs.
And I think that's a big advantage because it allows people to attend meetings like this, presentations, and be part of the experience without having to be able to have a head-mounted display or afford a gaming computer. They can use a cell phone, and these days, I think everyone pretty much has a smartphone.
It seems like to me it's a similar type of perspective as spatial when I went into there and just kind of moved around and the same kind of. I think it's interesting to see how the video games and the game engine you're really seeing combined with real world. Like the technologies really were in the game, and I look forward to seeing what this is going to do. I love that it's accessible to everybody. You know, this is an important point of where the web is at because and that's one thing I like about the Altspace as well. If you have a computer, you can access this as well, you know, and get a taste of what it's like to kind of be in a room.
Well, talking about accessibility, let's move on to our next platform, and that is Rec Room. And I say accessibility because if you look at the screen, you can see that one can get to Rec Room pretty much using any type of device, from a PC to a PlayStation to an Xbox, etc. So they've definitely worked on making it accessible. Rec Room has been around for quite a while. It started, I think, in 2016 on Microsoft Windows. And, in my opinion, and I vacillate when I say this because every experience I have when I go there is different. I think, however, it's the demographic that it's aimed at is younger adults. But, Rec Room does allow you to modify the space. You have a tool or a pen actually where you can change all kinds of things, including textures. Rec Room has a visual scripting language called circuits where you do basically the same thing. And I really had to ask myself when Horizon came out, being low poly and using a similar visual scripting language, at least in look and feel, whether they'd copied the Rec Room model.
I actually like that in VR, it seems like a lot of stuff is free. And if you're into it, you can spend a little bit more money and have a enriched experience that you get access to more things. So I feel like it fits more people, everybody.
That's definitely one of the nice things about Altspace VR is that they haven't charged us for the pleasure, and VRChat as well. That there are some of these worlds where if you wanted to build something you would have to buy land, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point if that doesn't happen. After all, we are still in beta here in AltspaceVR. Chris?
I mean, I think it's also important to say that all these platforms that we covered today are basically free to use. You don't have to pay for the access here in Altspace. You don't have to pay for the VRChat access. Mozilla HUBS is even open source, so you can download the source code and change it if you want to. And also Rec Room offers you, the service basically for free.
That's a great point. And these, AltspaceVR, VRChat, Rec Room are all available for download. If you have an Oculus Quest, free download, and membership is free unless, of course, you upgrade to a paid plan. But Altspace, for example, doesn't have a paid plan, and everything here is free to experience. And there's some amazing experiences. I think people miss out on that, where they don't understand what happens here in these spaces and what is to be gained by being part of the community. Good. Closing comments, Chris?
Well, I mean, I would say those platforms that we saw today are probably the major ones with the most users. There are thousands and thousands in VRChat and Rec Room, and there are also a lot in Altspace, and also there are a lot of people that use Mozilla HUBS and build it their first worlds with it because it's so easy and so changeable as a pure WebXR experience in the end.
Well, I think just to end, I'm going to say something that I brought up before, is that, again, this is very like the days when you had CompuServe and AOL and eWorld, which were hubs to the internet. And, I'm seeing Horizon VRChat, AltspaceVR really as being hubs to the internet. And at some point, when we establish standards that enable people to seamlessly get into VR and be in VR space without the need to be in a platform like this, that's going to be the change. And we saw it with the web. I think we'll see it with virtual reality.
All right, Chris. Thank you, guys. This was good.
Yeah, thanks for being here. See you around next time.
Yes, this has been another
See you
episode.
in the Metaverse.
Yes, this has been another episode of Greetings from the Future, Tales from the Metaverse. We meet here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to talk about the Metaverse and what it is. You'll be surprised at what we come up with. Check the calendar. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.